I've got really lucky in lower school. I feel like objectively, I got the best teachers. I'm definitely not biased at all. Miss Brown, I mean, she was my first grade teacher. She pulled out a tooth of mine. I don't know. Like, I have all these random little memories with her. She's just such an amazing person. Every time I see her now, she gives me like a big hug and was like, "How are you? How are you?" The things that stand out and the things that I remember have made like a huge impact on my life.
Hello, and welcome to The Perch, where we highlight authentic voices, expert insights, and meaningful conversation. The Perch brings the Kinkaid School's mission to life through stories of education, leadership, and community. Let's get started. Hello, friends. Well, we made it to the end of Season 1 with our new podcast, but we are not ready to go just yet. Let's wrap up in style today with our season finale. Joining you to guest host today's podcast is none other than our head of school, Mr. Jonathan Eades. Jonathan, the mic is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Really excited to be here. I have to say, it's been an action-packed, even historic first semester at Kinkaid. We've moved into a new upper school, hosted the 75th annual Kinkaid Book Fair. We won SBC championships in football and field hockey. We performed The Legend of Sleepy Hollow in the Brown Auditorium. We produced the play Decision Height in the Black Box. The fall dance concert was breathtaking. Winter sports are now well underway. And we just had a brilliant, magnificent Margaret Kinkaid Holiday Celebration of the Arts this past Sunday. There's such crazy impressive talent here at Kinkaid. And things seem to be speeding up as we prepare to go on a much-deserved winter break. Thanks for tuning in because you're in for a real treat. I've invited two special guests for what I know will be a rich, meaningful conversation. I'm joined today by junior Rosie Carr. Rosie, welcome to The Perch.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. And I'm also joined by junior Takori Bradford. Welcome to The Perch, Takori.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Glad to have you guys. Through both of you, we're eager to take a deep dive into what student life is like for an upper school student during junior year. Rosie, let's start with you. Tell us, what grade did you enter Kinkaid? And also, please tell us about your passions and your activities here at Kinkaid this school year.
So I actually entered Kinkaid in kindergarten, so I've been here for almost my entire life. I feel like starting in middle school, we get a really good athletics program, and so I've gone to try out many, many sports here. And while I'm not the best at all of them, and I didn't love all of them, I just like that I got the chance to, and I still play 3 sports in high school. And it's just a really great opportunity for all students.
Which are those 3 sports?
Right now, I do cross country, soccer, and lacrosse.
Tell me just briefly about that cross-country experience. I know the coaches at Kinkaid are all fantastic, but particularly in that program, has that been a special experience for you, especially because there's special people in that program?
They're the best. I mean, they're the most supportive kind. Like, it's the most positive team I've ever been a part of inside of school and outside of school. They just want you to be the best version you can be of yourself, and there's not a better place on campus, in my opinion.
I've always said the best way to teach leadership is to model it, and that coaching staff are maybe arguably the best of the best doing that. Thanks, Rosie. Takori, what about you? What grade did you enter Kinkaid, and what activities are you passionate about and participate here in the upper school?
I joined Kinkaid in the 6th grade, so I've been here since middle school. So far in Kinkaid, I've been a part of the orchestra, and I've been playing a handful of sports. I play 4 sports here, so I have a bit of the arts and the athletics that Kinkaid offers, and I'm enjoying both of those at the moment.
Miss Kinkaid's vision for this school when she founded this place in 1906 was based on the triple threat, the 3 A's, academics, arts, and athletics, and you absolutely embody that. Can anybody pigeonhole you as one? Are you an athlete? Are you an artist? Are you a scholar? Or would you say all of those are equally weighted in terms of your identity?
All of those are very much equally weighted. I don't have a heavier hand in any of those. Like, they're pretty much equal.
All right, love it. That Miss Kinkaid would love that, Takori. Rosie, you've been here for over a decade. You've been here the longest of the 3 of us here. I'd love to hear your reflections on what is still very much the same about Kinkaid from when you started, and compared to now. How's the school evolved and changed?
I feel like the community is pretty much the exact same. I feel like we've always been very close. The lower school, middle school, upper school. Like, I know multiple lower schoolers' names, which is kind of strange if you think about it. Like, we have a 12-year difference, but I still know a lot of them just because 'cause they're siblings or, like, faculty's children, and so I feel like we all trust each other, and we come together and we celebrate for field day or the football games, and so I feel like that really has stayed constant despite all the, like, changing buildings and us moving around. Yeah.
I love that. You know, this is my 31st year working in schools. I'm also Kinkaid
Mhm.
dad of 2 grads and have a sophomore son here. And I often get asked, you know, what do I like best about Kinkaid? What do I value most about it? And our secret sauce, it is the people. And we're so fortunate with all these resources and different opportunities, but the core is it's the community. And you hear a cliche, a family situated school. I can't imagine a better example of that than Kinkaid. So I love hearing that is what you tease out as well. Um, Rosie, because you have lower school experience that Takori and I don't, I'm going to get you to reach back in your memory a little bit
Okay.
to lower school. Can you share with us a special lower school memory and or a special lower school person or people, if it's plural, somebody that you'll always cherish from your time in the Kinkaid Lower School? In other words, if I were to bump into you at your 20th reunion, you're still going to remember either that particular moment or that individual or individuals.
I've got really lucky in lower school. I feel like objectively, I got the best teachers. I'm definitely not biased at all. Um, Miss Brown, I mean, she was my first grade teacher. She pulled out a tooth of mine. I don't know. Like, I have all these random little memories with her. Just she's just such an amazing person. Every time I see her now, she gives me like a big hug and it's like, "How are you? How are you?" And she still has one of my books that she uses as an example every single year when she's teaching. And I just feel like all these teachers in the lower school, I have such special memories with all of them, and it was just such an important time in my life, even though obviously there's a lot I've forgotten. The things that stand out and the things that I remember have made, like, a huge impact on my life.
I love hearing you talk about Miss Brown like that. When she hears this, that's an educator's true paycheck is hearing that. That's why we do what we do. So I love that you shared that. To Cord, why Kinkaid? What drew you and your parents to Kinkaid for 6th grade?
So my mom, she's always had her eye on Kincaid ever since I was born. We really didn't get the chance to come here until middle school because financial difficulties throughout. And so for me, I knew nothing about it. I did no research about what middle school I wanted to go to and things like that. So it was all my mom. She told me that the reason why she chose this school because they offered a good education and it looked like it was like they had a neat community and she values community more than anything specifically. She values like a safe environment and a well-rounded school with sports and arts and things like that. And she thought that Kincaid was the best like school for that.
Love that you shared that. And by your estimation and hers, did Kinkaid meet that expectation? And was it right away or an acquired taste? How'd that
No,
go?
absolutely. It immediately like we started off in middle school online and
Right.
it was difficult to have that community, but Kincaid still made a real effort to get us to know each other and they still tried to do the things like Camp Kincaid and the ninth grade retreat, things like that.
Yeah, super distinctive. I want to ask you the same question I asked Rosie about lower school, but ask you about middle school for you. You have a special memory or special person or two that immediately come to mind?
Yes, I think about my seventh and eighth grade advisory.
Hmm.
Miss Black, she is the English teacher there at middle school. I was in her advisory in the seventh grade. We've always had parties and we've always played like games with each other. And I just really thought that was neat, especially hearing that other advisories didn't do that a lot. And so I thought I got real lucky being able to be a part of that advisory. And then in the eighth grade with Miss Long, we had a Secret Santa, which is my first Secret Santa ever. And I I was really surprised by how everyone like at my first thought was there's no way everybody's buying gifts for each other, you know, but they pulled it off and everyone did it. It came through and it was a wonderful time.
I love that. Corey, you and I came to Kincaid actually at the exact same time, that COVID. And I remember how challenging it was, but I love it that you still sense community. So thanks for sharing that. So we're both in the middle of our 6th year at Kinkaid, you and I are. During that span, 6th grade to now junior year, what insights do you have as far as what about Kinkaid has remained the same? And have you seen the school evolve during your 6 years?
I'd say that there's definitely a better sense of community in upper school. In middle school, we were all kind of separated. Like I wasn't as close as with the 8th graders when I was in 6th grade
Right.
as I was now with the seniors when I was a freshman. And so I think that in upper school they do a better job of incorporating us into like to just to get to know each other better, and whether that's clubs or just like sports, things like that.
And friends and connections outside of your own grade.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is some of the secret sauce about Kinkaid.
Mhm.
You hear that all the time. Is that, and the best evidence of that is go to one of our graduations. The stands are filled with underclassmen. And why are they there? They're there by choice. Even though it's a Friday night, they're there because they have a senior that they're close to. So thanks for that. Let's for both of y'all, let's talk about the All In campaign a little bit. Y'all have endured a lot of construction during the last several years. And now, thank goodness, we're finally in our new upper school. But before we look at the new upper school, look back. Your first half of high school at Kinkaid, 9th grade, 10th grade, we were out in what everybody called the TUS, the temporary upper school out there on the front of San Felipe. What was that like? Having to go out there for a couple of years. Did it felt it hindered? Was community actually better? I'm just curious. How was your experience during construction? Do you feel construction impeded what was going on here at Kinkaid as far as your experience?
I actually kind of liked being in the tusk because I felt like I saw everyone all the time. So I never felt like I was like searching for any of my friends or I hadn't seen anyone in a week. Or sometimes I feel like in this big building we get a little bit lost because I mean, even now, halfway through the year, I'm still getting used to it,
It's big.
still finding my way.
Yeah.
The other day, I literally found a new staircase that I had never seen.
Love it.
So I kind of liked that aspect of the temporary upper school, although I will say, when it was raining and you had to go to the trailers for science,
Brutal.
brutal. Yeah.
Takori, any thoughts from you on this?
I felt that the temporary upper school was a bit of a hassle, especially transitioning from the classes that were in the building at that time and going between the science, like the village.
Yeah.
And
You got your steps.
yes, and then having orchestra too. It was
Yeah.
just one big triangle, and it was just a huge hike to every class.
Hey, can I whisper a little insight to you? Wait till you get to college. You can have your steps. Very similar. Well, thank y'all for that. Let's go back in our mind's eye, all three of us, to August 20th. That was our first day of school this year, move-in day. I know the teachers had spent the previous weeks getting their room set up, and that was a delight for me, by the way. One of the coolest things I've ever seen is just popping in the rooms as they're getting set up. It's like when you buy a new house or something to that effect. They were excited. Tell me about your first day of school as it relates to the new spaces. Rosie, you kind of got us started on the size and the scale.
Yeah.
But what stands out to you from that first day and any changes now that we're at the end of the first semester? What are your thoughts on our new spaces here at Kinkaid in the upper school?
I feel like, I mean, like I said, I just felt like I was walking in one big loop. Like I kept getting lost, and especially the first day when there weren't posters up on lockers or anything yet, it was a bit hard to find our way. But now that it feels more lived in, like we have all of our club signs and sports signs up, and teachers have all their decorations up. I feel like it feels more homey, I guess. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the right word.
I think it is.
Less sterile,
Yep.
like it feels like there are people here and there's kids and there's joy.
Takori, what do you think?
First day of school, and we were able to tour the building. It was pretty big. I really never thought that I'd be able to get the full layout of the building as quick as I did actually. And like Rosie said, it just felt brand new and untouched, which it was at that time. And so I remember like being very surprised by the big like staircase and the student commons, and some teachers have like moss.
Yeah, those like
can't-
moss things on the walls.
And I was like, what the
Go
heck?
for it.
Like, I've never seen anything like this. I was really excited to get to know the building. I wanted to get familiar with it. And that was definitely how my like experience was with meeting the building. first day of
Well,
school.
if you were to ask me the same question about what has stood out to me, Central Park is my favorite
Yeah.
design space. I mean, all of it's
Mountain
gorgeous,
Day.
but yeah, I love it. Well, let's pivot to junior year at Kinkaid. Dun, dun, dun. It's widely regarded as the most challenging year of all the grades at Kinkaid. I'm curious if you disagree with that. But Rosie, we'll start with you. I know you're a stellar student. You may not want me to say this, but I know you're an A student at Kinkaid. I also know and love that you're a voracious reader. And I also understand that you have finished more than 55 books this year. Are you charting them through Goodreads? Is that
I am.
good?
Yep. I think I hit 60 last Friday.
That's so awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm married to a voracious reader. My daughter, Lil, is same thing, and same number. But doing that, that's pleasure reading on top of our curriculum, Rosie. My question with that setup is, how do you balance it all? That's a lot, and yet you still find time for what's important for you.
I think a lot of it for me was just figuring out what classes would actually interest me. So I had been taking Spanish before, and while I liked all the teachers and I wasn't struggling too bad with the material, it just like wasn't something I felt passionate about. So that's why I switched to more sciences, more maths, which obviously isn't for everyone and it's its own can of worms. Like it's super challenging, but it feels more gratifying, I would say. Like feeling that challenge and kind of stressing about it is kind of nice. That sounds weird, but it's nice to have that difficulty when it feels like something that I really care about.
Yep.
So that was the most important thing to me when figuring out my schedule. And Mr. Friday, who's my dean, was super helpful with that.
Love it.
And to stay with all my tasks, to be quite honest, this isn't a good thing. I shouldn't be putting this out there, but I am a bit of a procrastinator.
Yeah.
But my form of procrastinating isn't going on social media or watching TV. It's baking and reading.
Well, so here's such a dad question, but I'll ask it to you anyway. So if you had to tell your own fortune, look into your future career, do you see yourself in a dream job as a writer or in a STEM or medical field or possibly something else all entirely?
In my dreams, I'd probably be a writer. But I feel like for me, like when I go to college, I'm probably going to study something STEM and minor in a creative writing and have that be more of a hobby until I can make it something more.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Takori, let's pivot back to you, my man. So I want to go back to upper school load at Kinkaid. So we're rounding out that junior year discussion. I would argue that one would be very, very hard pressed to find a more engaged student than you, Takori. As you said, you play not one, not two, not three, but four sports. Football, wrestling, swimming, and track, and in addition to, like Rosie, a real rigorous course load. But then I also understand you have a 30 to 45-minute commute, conceivably, depending on traffic out there, to and from Kinkaid each day. So you know what question's coming. How's your stress? And how do you fit it all in? And where do you find support at Kinkaid? Similar question I asked Rosie.
Yeah, okay. When I talk about where I'm getting my stress from, it's really not even from the workload or even the sports. A lot of it is just from me wanting to give everything my all, and then oftentimes spreading myself too thin. Like you hear it, I do 4 sports, but the sports are just for fun to me. I do it just because they keep me active. If I'm not active, I get sad,
Mm.
and it just keeps me happy, keeps me moving, and
Rosie smiling as a runner, that resonates. Yeah. Go ahead, Takori.
um like when I'm needing support or anything like that, I'll go talk to Miss Baker or Miss Chatonwa. They're always there. She lends me her office for studying and things like that.
Very cool.
And she keeps me on track. I'm not the type of person who is able to be my own I procrastinate, and sometimes I procrastinate too much, and I need someone to kind of ground me, and she's that person for me because I know that sometimes it gets hard to get out of that loop, and I like that I have people here that can kind of get me out of that loop.
A side goal of ours with this interview on the Perch here, this podcast, is to draw more students to our podcast. And one thing that I'm immediately struck by is y'all are both high achievers, high flyers, crushing Kinkaid, but you both procrastinate and you both have different ways you manage your stress. Thanks for sharing that. All right, let's end with fun, which is break. All of Kinkaid's about to take a deep breath and go on vacation for a couple weeks. I would love to hear you talk about your plans for vacation, your hopes and dreams for winter break. Takori, you want to start?
Oh, sure. So for the break, me and my family, we have a tradition where the 12 days leading up to Christmas, we'll do something special each day.
Mm.
So we'd go to the Polar Express, Santa's Wonderland, the Christmas lights, just those 12 days leading up to Christmas. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to our gingerbread contest. It gets really competitive. I get cheated every year.
I take it you didn't win.
Okay. And that's really what my breaks look like, just spending time with my family.
That's very special. Thanks for sharing that. Rosie, what about y'all?
I was also gonna say spending time with my family. I don't really get to see my siblings very often. But we're actually going down to Mexico to visit my grandparents for New Year's, so that'll be really fun.
Fantastic. Where in Mexico do they live?
They live in San Miguel,
Uh,
so it's
that's
like a small town.
fantastic. Well, this has been fun for me. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully our audience has had some fun and learned a lot more about what it's like to be a student in the upper school. So Mr. Marr, getting ready to throw it back to you. I hope all of Kinkaid, all Falcons, have a fun, safe, and restorative holiday season. You've all earned it, and we'll see you on the other side in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eades. Rosie, Takori, thank you for joining us. That is a wrap on season 1 of The Perch. Everyone, we will see you again after the break. Thanks again for joining us on The Perch.